I'm going to be reading the back, like this back cover, then I'm going to read the actual book. Anyway, Life in the Flat Lane. When Stanley Lambchop wakes up one morning, his brother Arthur is yelling. A bulletin board fell on Stanley during the night, and now he's only half-inch thick. Amazing things begin happening to him. Stanley gets rolled up, mailed, and flown like a kite. He even gets to catch 2 dangerous art thieves. Can you guys see me? He may be flat, but he is a hero. Here's some more of the Flat Stanley books, including this one. The Flat Stanley book you might be interested in. Flat Stanley, Stanley and the Magic Lamp, Stanley in Space, Stanley Christmas Adventure, and Invisible Stanley. So let's get on with our book, Flat Stanley by Jeff Brown, pictures by Scott Nash. Here is a table of contents. All the things. Chapter 1, the big bulletin board. Chapter 2, being flat. Chapter 3, Stanley the Kite. Chapter 4, the museum thieves. Chapter 5, authors. Good idea. I'm only going to be reading probably to only chapter 3. I don't know. Breakfast was ready. I will go wake the boys, Miss Lambchop said to her husband. George Lambchop, just their younger son Arthur called from the bedroom he shared with his brother Arthur. I meant Stanley. Hey, come look! Hey! Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop were both much in favor of politeness and careful speech. Hey is for horses, Arthur, not people, Mr. Lambchop said as they entered the bedroom. Try to remember that. Excuse me, Arthur said. But look! He pointed to Stanley's bed. Across it lied the enormous bulletin board that Mr. Lambchop had given the boys a Christmas ago so that they can pin up pictures and messages and maps. It had fallen during the night on top of Stanley, but Stanley was not hurt. In fact, he was to have been sleeping if it wasn't woken from his brother's shout. What's going on here? He called out cheerfully from beneath the enormous board. If you guys hear other turns while I'm turning, that is my brother. He's reading the same book. Anyway, so I'm in my room, not in the living room, which is straight above me. The bathroom is up there. So anyway, back to reading. Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop hurried to lift it from the bed. Heavens, said Mrs. Lambchop. Gosh, said Arthur. Stanley's flat as a pancake, said Mr. Lambchop. Darnest thing I've ever seen. Let's all have breakfast, Mrs. Lambchop said. 31. 4. Let's all have breakfast, Mrs. Lambchop said. Then Stanley and I will go see Dr. Dan and hear what he has to say. In his office, Dr. Dan examined Stanley all over. How do you feel? He asked. Does it hurt very much? I feel sort of tickly. Well, after I got up, Stanley Lambchop said. But I feel fine now. This picture. Well, that's mostly how it is with these cases, said Dr. Dan. I don't like reading it loud, so if I mess up, sorry. We'll just have to keep an eye on this young fellow, he said when he had finished the exam. Sometimes we doctors, despite all our years training and expertise, can only marvel at how little we really know. Mrs. Lambchop said she thought Stanley's clothes would have been altered by the tailor now. So Dr. Dan told his nurse to take Stanley's measurements. Mrs. Lambchop wrote them down. Lambchop is such a weird name. Because Lambchop is a food. It's weird. Anyway, Stanley was 4 feet tall and about a foot wide and a half-inch thick. What, Jay?
Mrs. Lambchop. Mr. Lambchop.
Being Black. Chapter 2.
Me, black.
Flat.
Oh. That's it, black. I'm like, what's wrong with that?
Shut
I'm gonna put it down here in the lower level so you guys can see me a little bit more. When Stanley got used to being flat, he enjoyed it. He can go in and out of rooms, even when the door was closed, just by laying down and sliding through the crack at the bottom. Crack at the bottom. Jay, crack at the bottom. You guys get it? Crack at the bottom.
Bottom and crack.
Bottom and crack.
Equals
Comment
butt
down
crack.
below if you get it.
Equals butt crack.
Through the bottom of the crack. I meant crack at the bottom. Mr. and Mrs. Lamchop said it was silly, but they were quite proud of him.
Wait, what does that word?
What? Stanley.
I didn't
Arthur-
know that.
Arthur got jealous and tried to slide under their door, but he just banged his head. Why did I do that? He was taking a walk with Mrs. Lamchop one afternoon when her favorite ring fell through from her finger. The ring rolled across the sidewalk and down between down between the bars of a grating that covered a deep, dark shaft. Mrs. Lamchop began to cry. "I have an idea," Stanley said. He took one of his laces out of his shoes and an extra pair out of his pocket and tied them all together to make one long lace. Then he tied one end of that to the back of his belt and what was that?
Me.
Gave the other end to his mother.
I'm kind of sick, so she's in somewhere with a sick person.
Yeah, I am in somewhere with a sick person, so hopefully,
She doesn't get sick.
yeah, I don't want to get sick. When I'm reading, like most people when they're reading, they have a cover over them, so I'm gonna look like one of those people. Lower
I am
me.
one of those people.
Lower me, he said, and I will look for the ring. Thank you, Stanley. Well, I say it was sass. Thank you, Stanley, Mrs. Lamchop said. She lowered him between the bars and moved him carefully up and down and from side to side so that he could search the whole floor of the shaft. 2 policemen came by and stared at Mrs. Lamchop as she stood holding the long lace that ran down the grating. She pretended not to notice them. "What's the matter, lady?" "That's so rude. What's the matter, lady?" the first policeman asked. "Is your yo-yo stuck?" "I'm not playing with a yo-yo," Mrs. Lamchop said sharply. "My son is at the other end of this lace, if you must know." "Get the net, Harry," said the second. "Policeman, we have caught a cuckoo. We have caught a cuckoo." Just then, down the shaft, here's the picture of the policeman being rude. "We've caught a cuckoo!" Just then, down the shaft, Stanley cried out, "Hooray!" Mrs. Lamchop pulled him up and saw that he had the ring. "Good for you, Stanley," she said. Then she turned angrily to the policeman. "A cuckoo indeed," she said. "Shame." The policeman apologized. We didn't get it, lady," they said. "We must have been hasty. We see that now. People should think twice before making rude remarks." "Words of wisdom," said Mrs. Lamchop. "And then not make them at all." The policeman realized that was a good rule and they should try to remember it. Yeah, you guys need to remember that. Stop being rude to other people just because you feel like you need to be rude. Stop being a bully. Be nice. Think twice before you make rude remarks and then don't make them at all. Words of wisdom.
Educational.
Yep.
This is an educational channel. Read books.
Yes, read a lot of books.
So you could read chapter books. Just like us.
I am not digging my nose. I am itching my nose because my nose itches.
No one said that you wasn't.
I'm just saying. Because it looks like I'm trying to dig my nose, but I'm actually itching.
Up.
Shh. One day, Stanley got a letter from his friend Thomas Anthony Jeffrey, whose family had moved recently to California. A school vacation was about to begin, and Stanley was invited to spend it with the Jeffreys. "Oh boy," Stanley said. "I would love to go." Mrs. Lambchop, I said Mrs. Mr. Lambchop sighed. "A round trip train or airplane ticket to California is expensive," he said. "I'll have to think of a cheaper way." When Mr. Lambchop came home from the office that evening, he brought with him a Norris brown paper envelope. "Now then, Stanley," he said, "try this for a size." The envelope fit Stanley very well.
On page 16.
What?
On
Yeah,
page 16.
on page 16.
On page 8.
Okay. I'm not a slow reader. I'm a very fast reader. At this point, by now, I would be at page 55, the last page. Anyway. Was even a room left over. There was even room left over. Mrs. Lambchop discovered for an egg sandwich made with thin bread and a toothbrush case filled with milk. What?
I was almost at chapter 4, and I was trying to see if there was a picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned the page to see if there was a picture, and then I saw this. Seafly Stanley.
Yes.
Look at him.
Boy,
It's funny.
your breath stank. You need the toothpaste. Anyway, take your book and so I can read. I'm sorry, my brother is rudely interrupting.
I'm not really.
I have a belt in here, guys. I will whoop him. And you guys will see that.
No.
I'm brutal. Tooth. Now I have to start. I'm playing, bruh. I'm playing. Was even with thin bread and a toothbrush case filled with milk. They had even put great many stamps on the envelope to pay for both airmail and insurance, but it was still much less expensive than a train or airplane ticket to California. The next day, Mrs. and Mrs. Lambchop slid Stanley into the envelope along with the egg salad sandwich and the toothbrush case full of milk.
65.
And mailed him from the box on the corner. The envelope had to be folded through the slot to fit through the slot, but Stanley was limber boy, and inside the box he straightened right up again. Mrs. and Mr. Lambchop was nervous because Stanley had never been away from home alone before. She rapped on the box. "Can you hear me, dear?" she called. "Are you all right?" Stanley's voice came up quite clearly. "I'm fine. Can I eat my sandwich now? Wait an hour and try to get overheated, dear." Try not to get overheated, dear, Mrs. Lambchop said. Then she and Mr. Lambchop cried out, "Goodbye, goodbye," and went home. Stanley had a fine time in California. When the visit was over, the Jeffreys returned him in a beautiful white envelope they had made themselves. It had a red and blue markings to show that this was airmail, and Thomas Jeffrey had lettered it "valuable" and "fragile," and this and "up" on both sides. Back home, Stanley told his family, that is like a tongue twist, guys, that he had been handled so carefully he never felt a single bump. Mr. Lambchop had it proved that jet planes were wonderful, and so was the postal service, and that this was a great age is which to live in. Stanley thought so too. This is chapter 3. We were going to wait for that chapter, so I'm put a bookmark in it. You guys have to wait for that in another reading session. Jerry, sleep. Boy. So guys, we already ate dinner, And I just read y'all a portion, so we're probably going to be going to sleep. Jay, you think you can get up and turn off the light outside of the closet? Get up and turn off the light outside the closet. Boy, get up! I don't care if you don't want to. Go turn off the light so we can go to bed. Guys, we're just going to sleep in the light. See you guys when we wake up. I'm very sleepy. So when we wake up, probably be 12 o'clock so we can get in our beds. That would be 24 hours, basically. So, see you guys. I didn't pause it. Jay is knocked out, guys. Like, over there, he has a book on his face. So, anyway, time to go to bed. I love you guys. The light's still on, too. What's up, guys? I'm back with another video. It's about 12 o'clock right now, and Jay's still over there knocked out. I just woke up and realized we do need to get in our beds, or else our back's not gonna be straight. We're gonna be kind of knocked out during school. So, I'm very comfortable with where I'm sleeping. So I'll probably go sleep for an extra hour or two before I go wake us up. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I love you guys again. What's up, guys? So, time update. It's about 4 a.m. We have to get up anyways, like an hour. So, yeah, I'm just spending the rest of my time in the closet, wait till 5 a.m. and then wake up my little brother. He has no cover on and it is freezing cold. So keep the cover on. So, anyway. So, I'm going to be sleeping for another hour or two. See you. Time to fast forward. Guys, it is 6:06 a.m. and it's time for us to wake up so we can get ready for school. Okay. I have to go wake my little brother up. It's fun being in the closet, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm going to jump scare my little brother. He wakes up so quickly, so I'm going to jump scare him. So, there he is. Jet!
What?
Wake up! 6 a.m. Time for us to get up anyway. It's Tuesday. So, it's Tuesday. It's 6 a.m., guys.
It's the 16th. The 16th is on Monday.
Okay, guys. It's time to exit the video. Time update. So, what
We
happened?
didn't have to use the bathroom at all.
I know, like, the poop thing is empty, the pee thing is empty. But one thing I have to tell you guys. So my mom, but my mom, it does, but my mom, she came in here and my phone time was wrong. It is actually still 9 o'clock. My phone time was wrong. So yeah, we can go back to sleep. Time.
I was dreaming about sugar plums.
So it's kind of time to go back to sleep. Fast forward to 5 a.m. starting now. mom, she had brought a clock in here so I can know the actual time. It's 6 a.m. right now. We can get about 30 more minutes of sleep. It's literally just 6 a.m. We can get 30 more minutes of sleep. So fast forward those 30 minutes. Okay, guys. Anyway, so I'm really tired, so I'm trying to get 10 more minutes of sleep. So it'd be about 10:40. So fast forward. So guys, it's 10:40, so I'm actually wake up this time. It's actually 6:40. It's not a fake out like I thought it was last time. Shame on you, phone. So there's Jay over there still asleep. It's about 6 a.m. and the light stayed on the whole time when I tried to turn it off. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching.